visible,
visible,
目に見える、視覚で確認できる状態。
the stars are visible tonight,
the stars are visible tonight,
the damage was clearly visible,
the damage was clearly visible,
he became visible in the crowd,
he became visible in the crowd,
visible,
visible,
earnest,
earnest,
真面目で誠実な態度。
he was earnest in his efforts,
he was earnest in his efforts,
her request was earnest,
her request was earnest,
they listened with earnest attention,
they listened with earnest attention,
earnest,
earnest,
miserable,
miserable,
非常に不幸または不快な状態。
he felt miserable after the failure,
he felt miserable after the failure,
the weather was miserable,
the weather was miserable,
she lived in miserable conditions,
she lived in miserable conditions,
miserable,
miserable,
pardon,
pardon,
過ちや罪を許すこと。
pardon my interruption,
pardon my interruption,
he asked for a pardon,
he asked for a pardon,
the governor granted a pardon,
the governor granted a pardon,
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 departure,
departure,
ある場所から離れること。
the departure time is at 8 a.m.,
the departure time is at 8 a.m.,
his departure was sudden,
his departure was sudden,
the flight's departure was delayed,
the flight's departure was delayed,
departure,
departure,
ruin,
ruin,
壊れて使えなくなった建物、または完全に破壊すること。
the castle is now a ruin,
the castle is now a ruin,
the storm ruined the crops,
the storm ruined the crops,
his actions led to financial ruin,
his actions led to financial ruin,
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 cattle,
cattle,
牛などの家畜。
the farmer raises cattle,
the farmer raises cattle,
the cattle grazed in the field,
the cattle grazed in the field,
cattle farming is his livelihood,
cattle farming is his livelihood,
cattle,
cattle,
Equipment.
Equipment.
特定の目的のために使用される道具や機器。
The laboratory has modern equipment.
The laboratory has modern equipment.
We need camping equipment.
We need camping equipment.
The equipment was expensive.
The equipment was expensive.
Equipment.
Equipment.
Wound.
Wound.
身体的な障害、または傷つける行為。
He suffered a wound in battle.
He suffered a wound in battle.
The doctor treated the wound.
The doctor treated the wound.
Words can wound deeply.
Words can wound deeply.
Wound.
Wound.
Laughter.
Laughter.
笑う行為や音。
Her laughter filled the room.
Her laughter filled the room.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Laughter is the best medicine.
We shared much laughter together.
We shared much laughter together.
Laughter.
Laughter.
Bold.
Bold.
勇敢で恐れを知らない態度。
He made a bold decision.
He made a bold decision.
The design was bold and colorful.
The design was bold and colorful.
She was bold in her speech.
She was bold in her speech.
Bold.
Bold.
Witness.
Witness.
何かを見たり経験したりする人、またはその行為。
He was a witness to the accident.
He was a witness to the accident.
The event was witnessed by many.
The event was witnessed by many.
She will witness the ceremony.
She will witness the ceremony.
Witness.
Witness.
Patient.
Patient.
医療を受ける人、または辛抱強い態度。
The doctor spoke to the patient.
The doctor spoke to the patient.
Be patient, it will take time.
Be patient, it will take time.
He is a patient teacher.
He is a patient teacher.
Patient.
Patient.
Quantity.
Quantity.
数量、数、または多量。
Measure the quantity of water.
Measure the quantity of water.
A large quantity of goods was stolen.
A large quantity of goods was stolen.
The recipe requires a small quantity of sugar.
The recipe requires a small quantity of sugar.
Quantity.
Quantity.
Severe.
Severe.
厳格で容赦のない状態。
The weather conditions were severe.
The weather conditions were severe.
He faced severe criticism.
He faced severe criticism.
The punishment was severe.
The punishment was severe.
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 Excuse.
Excuse.
理由または説明、または許しを与える行為。
He made an excuse for being late.
He made an excuse for being late.
Please excuse my interruption.
Please excuse my interruption.
She couldn't excuse his behavior.
She couldn't excuse his behavior.
Excuse.
Excuse.
Triumph.
Triumph.
大きな成功または勝利、または勝つこと。
The team's triumph was celebrated.
The team's triumph was celebrated.
She triumphed over her difficulties.
She triumphed over her difficulties.
His invention was a triumph.
His invention was a triumph.
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 Origin.
Origin.
何かの始まりまたは出どころ。
The origin of the tradition is unknown.
The origin of the tradition is unknown.
They researched the origin of the word.
They researched the origin of the word.
He is of Greek origin.
He is of Greek origin.
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 Eternal.
Eternal.
時間の制限がなく続くこと。
The quest for eternal youth.
The quest for eternal youth.
Their love seemed eternal.
Their love seemed eternal.
He believed in eternal life.
He believed in eternal life.
Eternal.
Eternal.
Base.
Base.
基礎または出発点、または何かに基づくこと。
The base of the statue is solid.
The base of the statue is solid.
The theory is based on facts.
The theory is based on facts.
They have a military base.
They have a military base.
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 Remark.
Remark.
コメントまたは言及、または述べること。
He made a witty remark.
He made a witty remark.
She remarked on his appearance.
She remarked on his appearance.
Please remark on the report.
Please remark on the report.
Remark.
Remark.
Pause.
Pause.
一時的な停止または中断。
Let's take a brief pause.
Let's take a brief pause.
He paused to think.
He paused to think.
The music paused for a moment.
The music paused for a moment.
Pause.
Pause.
Plant.
Plant.
成長する有機体、または地面に植えること。
The garden has many plants.
The garden has many plants.
He planted a tree.
He planted a tree.
The company plans to plant a new factory.
The company plans to plant a new factory.
Plant.
Plant.
Stick.
Stick.
長く細い切り物、または付着すること。
He carried a walking stick.
He carried a walking stick.
The label wouldn't stick.
The label wouldn't stick.
Mud stuck to his shoes.
Mud stuck to his shoes.
Stick.
Stick.
Absolute.
Absolute.
完全で疑いの余地がないこと。
She has absolute confidence in him.
She has absolute confidence in him.
It's an absolute truth.
It's an absolute truth.
He demanded absolute loyalty.
He demanded absolute loyalty.
Absolute.
Absolute.
Observe.
Observe.
注意深く見るまたは記録すること。
He likes to observe nature.
He likes to observe nature.
They observe the stars at night.
They observed the stars at night.
Observe the rules.
Observe the rules.
Observe.
Observe.
Rage.
Rage.
強い怒り、または激しく怒ること。
The storm raged outside.
The storm raged outside.
He flew into a rage.
He flew into a rage.
Rage consumed him.
Rage consumed him.
Rage.
Rage.
Guilty.
Guilty.
罪を犯した、または責任がある状態。
He felt guilty about lying.
He felt guilty about lying.
She was found guilty in court.
She was found guilty in court.
The guilty party must apologize.
The guilty party must apologize.
guilty,
guilty,
setting,
setting,
物語の背景、または場所や状況を整えること。
The setting of the story is in Paris.
the setting of the story is in Paris.
He adjusted the setting on the device.
He adjusted the setting on the device.
The sun was setting.
The sun was setting.
Setting,
Setting,
murder,
murder,
故意に人を殺すこと、またはその行為。
His speech stirred emotion.
the police investigated the murder.
He was charged with murder.
He was charged with murder.
Murder is a serious crime.
Murder is a serious crime.
Murder,
Murder,
emotion,
emotion,
心の中で感じる強い感覚や感情。
The police investigated the murder.
his speech stirred emotion.
She expressed deep emotion.
She expressed deep emotion.
Tears of emotion filled her eyes.
Tears of emotion filled her eyes.
Emotion,
Emotion,
generous,
generous,
他人に対して寛大または惜しみなく与えること。
He is known for being generous.
he is known for being generous.
She made a generous donation.
She made a generous donation.
A generous portion of food was served.
A generous portion of food was served.
Generous,
Generous,
waste,
waste,
価値あるものを無駄にすること。
don't waste your time.
don't waste your time.
He wasted his money on gambling.
He wasted his money on gambling.
Food waste is a big problem.
Food waste is a big problem.
Waste,
Waste,
possess,
possess,
何かを持っていること、または支配すること。
she possesses great talent.
she possesses great talent.
The country possesses rich resources.
The country possesses rich resources.
He possessed an air of confidence.
He possessed an air of confidence.
Possess,
Possess,
disease,
disease,
体の機能に影響を与える健康問題。
The doctor diagnosed the disease.
the doctor diagnosed the disease.
They are researching a cure for the disease.
They are researching a cure for the disease.
Heart disease is a common ailment.
Heart disease is a common ailment.
Disease.
Disease.
Mankind.
Mankind.
人間全体、または人間という種。
Mankind has always sought knowledge.
Mankind has always sought knowledge.
This invention changed mankind.
This invention changed mankind.
We must protect the future of mankind.
We must protect the future of mankind.
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 Delay.
Delay.
何かを遅らせること、または遅れ。
The flight was delayed.
The flight was delayed.
He delayed making a decision.
He delayed making a decision.
There was a delay in the schedule.
There was a delay in the schedule.
Delay.
Delay.
Philosophy.
Philosophy.
人生、宇宙、または知識の本質に関する研究。
He studied philosophy at university.
He studied philosophy at university.
Her philosophy of life is inspiring.
Her philosophy of life is inspiring.
Philosophy questions our existence.
Philosophy questions our existence.
Philosophy.
Philosophy.
Press.
Press.
物を強く押すこと、または新聞やテレビなどのメディア。
He pressed the button.
He pressed the button.
The press covered the event.
The press covered the event.
She works in the press.
She works in the press.
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 Household.
Household.
一つの家や家族の単位。
Every household has its rules.
Every household has its rules.
The household expenses increased.
The household expenses increased.
She is a household name.
She is a household name.
Household.
Household.